Good morning, students. The topic of the day is countable and uncountable nouns. This is chapter 10 of your grammar book. You all need to open your book to page 22 before you resume this session. Children, part A and D of this chapter were given as homework, and I hope there was no problem in solving these particular questions. I'll start my session by explaining what are countable and uncountable nouns, followed by chapter number 11, that is nouns number. So let's get started. Now children, there are certain nouns, especially common nouns, which can be counted and certain which cannot be counted. Based on this, we can divide nouns into two categories, countable and uncountable nouns. Come to the box at the bottom and underline as I underline. Nouns which can be counted are called countable nouns. You can count them on fingers or you can count them simply using the numbers and digits. So all such nouns which you can count easily are called countable nouns. In some cases it can be understood like that: for a noun which you can frame a plural, all those nouns come in the category of countable nouns. However, this rule doesn't apply to all the nouns. As for class 4, you must understand only this much, that nouns which can be counted are called countable noun. And mind it, those should be easily countable. Next, nouns which cannot be counted. For example, sugar, milk, water. All these are uncountable nouns. You cannot count sugar, milk or water, but you can weigh them, or you know the amount of such things, or you know the quantity of these things. So such nouns which cannot be counted but can be weighed or which can be amounted to something are called uncountable nouns. Even money comes in the category of uncountable nouns because it cannot be counted on fingers as such simply, though you know what amount it is. Let's come to the C part. Question C reads, write C for countable nouns and U for uncountable nouns. Now children, as I said, some nouns can both be countable and uncountable. But in class 4 level, we will consider only one aspect of the words given, whether it is countable or uncountable. For example, there is a word fruit that is numbered 13 in this exercise. Now this fruit can be both countable and uncountable. Suppose I am talking about my favorite fruit, then it is countable. But if I say fruits in the basket, it becomes uncountable. So we have to consider both the cases, but for your level of understanding, I will be telling you only one answer for a particular word given. If possible, I'll give the reason, because there may be a confusion in your mind why a particular word ma'am has said countable or uncountable. But you focus only on one category, that is countable or uncountable. Rest, when you go to higher classes, it will be clear to you why a particular word, for example fruit, can be both countable as well as uncountable. Let's start. Tea. Tea refers to the tea which we drink. It's in liquid form and so it is uncountable. Write U and you will write this U within the box. Cup, countable, milk uncountable, bottle countable, gold uncountable, ring countable, page countable, paper uncountable. Now you may wonder why paper is uncountable noun, because pages you can flip and count 1, 2, 3, 4. Paper as such is a material used for making a page, and all such material words are usually uncountable, except the word stone. You can say stone. If I say this building is made up of stone, then it becomes uncountable. But if I say the boy hit the bird with 2 stones, then stones become countable. So it depends upon the situation. As I said, for level of class 4, you will be taking only one category, whether it is countable or uncountable. Let's move on. So paper is uncountable, right? You. Cake countable, stone uncountable. As I said, it is both countable as well as uncountable. So you write U. When we talk of stone as a material used for making something, it is uncountable. And if we talk about a boy hitting the bird with stones, then it becomes countable. Chocolate. Now chocolate coming in small sachets is always countable. Small candy like chocolates are always countable. So you write C. But if again we talk about chocolate which is melted, it becomes uncountable. So for your level of class, you just mention for chocolate C. Bar. Bar is a chocolate bar. So a small piece of chocolate from the entire chocolate is known as chocolate bar. So it is countable. Fruit uncountable. Mango countable. You can always count mango, apples, oranges. Food uncountable. Sand uncountable. Again, sand is used as a material for building something, so it is uncountable. Grass is uncountable. Chair countable. Butter uncountable. You can weigh the butter, you cannot count the butter. Honey uncountable. As I said before, why a particular word is countable and uncountable both, you will understand in higher levels of the classes. But for the time being, you can put a star over here below 17, 18, 19 question and write stone, chocolate, fruit, food, paper, bar in the bracket are many times countable too. Countable and uncountable too. Children, please take care to write again and match it. Stone, chocolate, fruit, food, paper, bar in the bracket are many times countable and uncountable too. This means where I have made you, suppose I have made you chocolate and bar countable, it is many a times uncountable too. And for example, I have told you stone is uncountable, it can be countable too. Just write it there. Need not go into the intricacies or detailed explanation why it is so. For the time being, you can take up the exercise as I have made you mark. Now D part was given to you as homework. I hope you have done it. You may match the answer by pausing the video. Turn the page. Coming to the topic nouns, number. Number refers to whether a noun is singular or plural. While reading or speaking, we use some words which stand for one or which stand for more than one. The words which stand for one noun are known as singular in number, and the words which stand for more than one noun are known to be plural in number. Come to this box and underline as I'll do. A noun standing for one person, animal, place or thing. This person, animal, place or thing refers to noun. So a noun standing for one person, name, animal, place or thing is said to be in the singular form, singular number. And the noun standing for more than one person, animal, place or thing is said to be in plural number. Now there are certain rules. In your book they are only 6 in number, but there are numerous rules to change a particular noun from singular to plural. We'll learn one by one what all these are, though you have done maximum among these in your class 3, but we will give a quick revision to what you have done, and wherever it is needed I will explain you the rule in detail. Number 1. Rule 1. Most nouns we only have to add s to the singular noun. For example, ball is my word. I will add s and it will become balls and will become plural. Bird, I will simply add s and it will become birds. This rule you have done in class 1 and 2. So we will not spend more time on this and shift to rule number 2. Children, write here read and learn. Those who can remember it only by reading once or twice, it's fine. Otherwise, you have to learn these singular and plural. Rule number 2. Nouns that end in a hissing sound. Now this hissing sound is given to us when we speak the words that end in or with s, double s, sh, ch and x. You speak these letters aloud and you will notice that hissing sound. S, sh, ch and x. So this is the sound that comes at the end of these words when they are spoken, that is known as the hissing sound. So all such words which end with this hissing sound, or you can take it, the words which end with s, double s, sh, ch, x, they form their plural by adding es to the singular word. For example, bus will become buses by adding es. Class will become classes by adding es. In bus it was single s and in class it was ending with double s. Likewise, bush is ending in sh and its plural will be framed by using es. So brush will be brushes. Rule 3 reads that some nouns end in o. Some nouns end in o. For example, word like buffalo, hero, mosquito, potato, all these are ending in an o, and their plural will be formed by adding es to the singular noun. For example, buffalo ending in o will make or form its plural by taking an es at the end. However, there is an exception to this rule. We will put a star on this word note. For example, the word photo, this rule doesn't apply and the plural will be formed only by adding an s to the word photo. Likewise, there are many such words ending in O, but their plural is formed by adding only an S. Rule 4 is for the words that end in F or FE. It reads, nouns that end in F or FE generally form their, please circle this word, generally form their plural by changing the F or the FE to VES. In simple words, the rule is this: if a word ends in FE or an F, you will drop these words FE and F and change the word by adding to the end VES. For example, the word knife is ending in FE. We will cut this FE, or you can say we will drop this FE and make the plural by writing VES in place of FE. Similarly, for leaf, which ends in F will be dropped and we will add VES to the word LEA. However, the rule doesn't apply to the word roof. Roof will form its plural by adding simply an S. Next, Rule 5. You may number the first part of the rule as 5A and read, nouns ending in consonant plus Y form their plural by changing the Y. Changing the Y means you will drop the letter Y to IES. Now children, you must be remembering what are consonant and what are vowel. Vowel, actually it is not vowel, it is vowel. Vowel are the letters A, E, I, O, U. And leaving these 5 letters, rest all come in the category of consonants. So if you have a word that ends in Y, but before that Y there is a consonant, see the example army, it is ending in a Y, but before Y there is a letter M, and M is a consonant, not a vowel. So in this case, the rule is that you will drop Y and use in its place IES. Let's take another example, that is at the end, story. Here the word is ending in Y, and before this Y there is a letter which is a consonant, R. So in this case, Y will be dropped and the plural will be framed by adding IES. Now number the note part as B rule of point number 5. If the final Y comes just after a vowel, what is a vowel? A, E, I, O, U. The plural is formed by simply adding S to the singular. Look the examples given below. Boy ends in Y, but before Y there is a vowel O. So in such case, we will not drop Y, and the plural will be framed by simply adding an S to the word. Similarly, see the word day. A is a vowel which is coming before Y. So the rule of dropping the Y will not apply to this. The plural of day will be framed by simply adding an S to the word day. The thumb rule is that all the words which have a vowel before the Y at the end will frame or form the plurals by adding an S. And if it is not a vowel before Y, then you will add IES and drop Y, which is at the end of the word. Turn the page. For rule 6, write here learn, there's nothing much to explain. It's only that certain words change completely while framing their or forming their plural forms. And here is a list of words. You have to learn it by heart. Coming to question number C. I'll do 1 or 2 parts for you, and the rest of the exercises will be your homework. In the following sentences, draw 1 line under a singular noun and 2 lines under a plural noun. For this question, children, you all must have your previous topic, that is what is a noun, very clear in your minds. Then only you can carry on with this part of the question or the chapter. So first of all, we will underline all the nouns in the sentence, and then we will see whether it is singular or plural, and accordingly we will mark a single or a double line under it. There were no boats near the bank. Now this is not the bank like the SBI bank or HDFC bank. Actually it is the bank of the river, the side of the river where you stand and watch the water flowing. So the nouns in this sentence are boats and bank. Now bank and boats, if you read, boat already has an S. This shows it is plural. So the line which you have marked, make it double there. Make another line, and bank is already marked with a single line. Most of the teachers in our school are friendly with the students. First of all, underline or very slightly you put a tick mark or a small line under the nouns. Teachers, school, students. All the naming words you have to underline. Now read the words again. Teachers has an S, so it is plural. Put a double mark there. School is singular, so a single line. Students again plural, so a double line. When the women entered the room, their feet were dirty. Now the naming words are women, mark a small stroke, room, feet. Now women being plural, a double line. Room is singular, so one line, and feet, foot is singular and feet is plural, so a double stroke. Rest of the parts are the homework, children. You will do it and take care of the spellings. E and F part are written there. It is written there for oral practice. You will write the answers below the words given there. As we are not holding real classes, so no oral practice will be possible. You will do it as a written work here itself in the book. Thank you, children.